Whenever we're playing Magic the Gathering Arena, especially Arena for physical cards, this idea doesn't really work because some of the cards we have in here are very expensive. But whenever we are given the opportunity to crack wild cards and make a big boy deck, a really competitive deck, we should do that. We should always do that and not chase the hype when it comes to every old new card that people are looking at. What is YouTube? It is a platform. It is a platform to make videos and to watch videos, and it's very lucrative for those who are very large channels. I am obviously not. I make $0. I actually have negative money from this YouTube channel because I have two accounts. I have a free-to-play account, and then I have this account that I'm using right here. I was asked about that earlier. Everybody knows I have a free-to-play account. It's just hard to make content on there. Why? Because I kind of have to chase the hype on a lot of different things. Because I want to produce content, I enjoy making these videos, and I will continue to make these videos. But what do I mean by not chasing the hype and just making the best of the best? Well, we get these wild cards all the time, it seems like, especially commons and uncommons. Yep, my economy is a little bit broken, but it's because I have to chase a little bit of the hype. But this deck is different. This deck is still a very competitive deck. And if you notice, I'm slamming a lot of different cards together that are great in and of themselves. Very craftable cards in and of themselves into this deck. Invoke Despair, almost every mono black deck is going to want to play 4 copies of this card. Unless it's mono black aggro that just doesn't have time to play it. One of the best cards in standard right now that we have in mono black. That goes for Sheoldred the Apocalypse as well. If you're playing a mono black deck and are not running Sheoldred the Apocalypse, I'm not actually really sure what you're replacing this with. Yes, dies to removal, but that's what everybody says about the best cards in any format. It dies to removal, which means the opponent is forced, if they want to stop Sheoldred, to not get rid of something like the Corpse Appraiser or the Bloodtithe Harvester. You're saving those destroy target creature for Sheoldred the Apocalypse. This thing gets above mono red very nicely, and if the opponent swings, Sheoldred blocks, takes 2 damage, lightning bolt to the face, there's 3 more damage to Sheoldred. Sheoldred just took care of 2 cards for you. So dice of removal is kind of a way of saltily saying it's not great. Memory Deluge, one of the better of the draw spells that we have access to. Memory Deluge is fantastic. Yes, it's going to rotate soon, but you can even play it in Historic. I wrote a video about my thoughts between Standard and Historic. Don't know if you saw it. It's out there, though. I might link it in the description below. But you're getting a lot of good stuff from this card. You get to look at the top 4, then you get to look at the top 6, or 7, actually. So it becomes better over time. You get 2 cards into your hand, which is not fantastic, but just being able to look at 4, put 2 into your hand, actually that avoids Sheoldred's losing 2 life every time you draw a card as well. So there's a couple of different things that make that good. You don't gain the life, but I mean, whatever. You gain a lot of life with Invoke Despair. And then we go on down. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. If you're playing especially any kind of Rakdos or anything with red in it that has a lot of control but may have a few creatures or so, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is going to do fantastic for you. This card has seen a lot of play and even sees a lot of play in Historic, so if you're crafting this, you could even play this in Historic and get away with it. Real life, about a $30 card last time I checked. Sheoldred's about a $40 card last time I checked. And the Phyrexian Fleshgorger is around a $25 card last time I checked. Yes, I do buy decks that I create on here for physical cards so that I could, play with my friends and lose friends sometimes. What I'm saying with that is all of these cards that are super expensive in real life that like this deck would be a pretty expensive deck. It would be pretty expensive, but in the arena, it's not that bad. which makes it fantastic for us to play around with and pretend to be professional Magic the Gathering players. Yeah, what is this deck trying to do, and why am I saying all of this? Well, this deck is basically trying to be a little bit of a control, but more of a Grixis mid-range deck that's trying to get to Invoke Despair and cast the Phyrexian Fleshgorgers for 7. It is going to take a while to get there, but I think we could do it. Early game, we are trying to remove a couple of creatures, remove a couple of artifacts, draw some cards, use Lily to take over the field a little bit, and then into Sheoldred, into Invoke Despair, into Fleshgorger. Getting the 5 mana for Invoke Despair with this deck isn't really that hard because we have, as I say from memory, this is how my memory works, by the way, 24 sources of black. Almost every time you play a mana, it's going to be a source of black. So hopefully on turn 5 you can Invoke Despair. If you have to get really crazy with it, turn 2 Infernal Grasp, kill a creature, turn 3 Corpse Appraiser, exile creature from the graveyard, and maybe draw your land from the 3 cards you look at. That's a way of getting your 5th land. Maybe even Memory Deluge. Either Memory Deluge to grab out another land, or maybe grab out an Invoke Despair. This is the main thing that we're trying to get to. That's why I'm calling this just a simple Grixis mid-range deck, is because we're basically trying to control the battlefield, draw some cards with the Invoke Despair, and then shut the opponent down with the Fleshgorger, because it's hard to pay 7 life once you're taking damage from Invoke Despairs and Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Really hard to keep taking that life. And of course we have our little combinations with the Fable of the Mirror and the Bloodtithe Harvester, creating more Harvesters, eliminating creatures, and Corpse Appraiser, creating another copy of the Corpse Appraiser, exiling another creature from the graveyard, and looking at the top 3, putting one of those cards into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Nice way to keep going through your deck, nice way to try to get to the Fleshgorgers, try to get to the Invoke Despairs, and try to hold out as long as possible. Lily, I think this card is much better than people are giving it credit for. Every time I've played Liliana of the Veil, it's been good, because not only does target player have to sacrifice a creature, hopefully it costs 3, so generally the opponent only has 1 card on field at this time, and if you're minusing getting rid of that creature, next turn you plus on it. If the opponent doesn't have another creature on the field and can't swing at it, then has to wait a turn, they put a big boy out, you minus on it again, Liliana of the Veil goes away, but so does 2 of the opponent's creatures. It's kind of like continual removal. And if we have things in this deck like Memory Deluge that actually have synergies with the graveyard actually makes this card a little bit stronger. So discarding with the Liliana of the Veil is not such a big deal if we have Memory Deluge in hand. All we're trying to do is we're trying to get to the mid-range with this deck. And I'm going to show you that you don't have to chase a hype. We've known about similar decks to this for a long time, and they've been good for a long time. But we're kind of getting pulled in multiple directions whenever we're watching people on platforms like YouTube talk about all these cool new synergies that they found and this and that, and that stuff is very important. Do not get me wrong, that stuff is a-okay. That stuff is perfect. I do the same thing. I love to play with multiple different cards, multiple different combinations, and it's just Magic the Gathering. You're just trying to have a good time, trying to have fun with the game. But you don't have to do that, especially if you have a new account or are a new player. You want to become good at something. Got a couple of videos lined up that kind of go off of the same topic where we're using this Grixis mid-range deck today. We're going to try to rank up a little bit. Just started work back up. Oh my word, the break was so amazing, but it is back to work time, so I haven't had time to really play and rank a whole lot. And I've been coming out with a lot of budget decks that are going to help people build out their collections in a very cheap way. So we've been focusing a lot on that on this channel. So I haven't really been able to play much in rank, but I'm going to go over this Grixis mid-range deck, and then I'm going to jump into, in another video, something more like an Esper line of thinking, where we're thinking about the best cards in Esper right now and what it's doing to the meta, whether you have to watch out for this kind of a deck, or whether this is the kind of deck that you want to play yourself. If you do, I would craft mostly Esper stuff, and if you like Grixis, I would craft mostly Grixis stuff. What a beautiful world this World of Magic is, because you can play just one deck, or you could just play tons of decks, but you gotta understand, your economy has to support it. Let's get into some matches and see how this does. This Grixis mid-range deck, we're only going to play a few because that was a very long introduction. I do apologize about that. If you want to see more budget stuff as well as some metagame decks, go ahead and hit subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, if you like that introduction, if you think that's good advice, like the video. That will get this particular video out to more and more people. But regardless of what you decide to do, thank you for joining. Let's get into some matches. Let's see if Grixis mid-range is still a good deck. Opponent chose to go first, which is quite the shame. We do have all three colors, but we don't have I would rather not have the Shivan Reefs and have more black sources, but we do have the Reckoner Bankbuster to try to help us draw into some things, and that is going to be a problem. Might have to use a Harvester early to get rid of Champion of the Perished. Haven't seen this card for a while. Every once in a while you see it. Not a lot of zombie decks out there. But Bloodtithe Harvester can hopefully handle this before it becomes a problem, and it will become a problem. Oh, he's offering us a trade. We'll take the trade. Yes, I know, this is a bit of a problem as well. But hopefully we can find an answer with the Corpse Appraiser. This also kind of blocks his efforts. You know what? Another Harvester looks actually pretty good right now, pretty solid. I don't like giving up these Harvesters like that, but oh, hello. I mean, if you're just going to give it up, I'll take it. Answer with another Corpse Appraiser. That makes it really hard for him to find a good attack. And we go for, oh, Shelly Girl. There she is. Very aggressive swings on the opponent's side. Another Champion of the Parish might be why he was swinging pretty heftily. He's swinging again. Do you know nothing else? Are you trying to aggro me out of this game? Infernal Grasp is really good. Let's go ahead and play the Takenuma. I know we could get the Bloodtithe Harvester out of the graveyard, but I kind of want to put the threat of the Invoke Despair on the field. And no attacks. Our opponent seems to be attacking quite frequently himself. No? No? You don't want to attack anymore? Well, what happened, opponent? We'll pop the blood. Grabs a Sulfurous Spring. We gain some life. Oh man, we gain some more life. And we handled his aggro. And now I think we could actually slow down enough to play a Reckoner's Bankbuster. Should we swing? I think yes. He could have his removal at any time. Double block on the Corpse Appraiser, wins with Invoke Despair. Yep. Do it like this. We still have the 2 mana up for drawing with the Bankbuster, which is pretty nice. We're gonna hold that in our back pocket. Opponent down to 12. Passing through to my turn, let's go ahead and draw. Okay, we got mana for turn. And we're at 21 health. What can go wrong? Besides almost anything. Drop that Fable in. Get our little gobbo. And opponent has had enough. Got stuck on lands. Hopefully for his own sake he doesn't get stuck again. Maybe burn down the houses are going to look pretty good in here. Maybe go down one Fleshgorger and one Dissipate. Yeah, I think I like this. We go down one of the Fleshgorgers because that's pretty big for a zombie deck. If we get to this point, it's going to be really good. But if we don't, it's really bad. We could play this for a 3-3 though, so he'd fit in right here. But we really want this in this deck for him being out here. So we're going to go with this. This allows us to clear the board if the zombies start to get out of control, which can happen if you don't keep them in check. Opponent was willing to just swing with everything every turn, so it was really easy first round. But let's see if he does it again. 1 mana, no thank you. 2 mana. Got him. How to be got. This might be a time when we were got. Start off with a Bankbuster. Play tapped land on turn 3. Draw with a Bankbuster. Oh, okay. I think we can make something cool happen there. Another tapped land from the opponent. And turns out almost exactly how I had hoped. Let's see what he does here. Mana for turn. Ghoulish Procession. Very good for zombie decks. Let's go ahead and pressure him. And we're not going to attack. We don't want to power up the bank. We could have powered up the Bankbuster. He doesn't have anything that can really deal with the Bankbuster with only 1 mana available. But, you know, and I would rather him deal with the Bankbuster, or the Bankbuster rather than the Sheoldred. He does deal with the Sheoldred here. Mana. What else you got? Using white for control, maybe. Just wondering why that white element was there. Maybe he's using that for some destroy spells. Stronger destroy magic in white. He's gonna march the Bankbuster. He goes down to 2 cards though. I don't know if that's a good idea, man. Like, I understand you have a 2/2 zombie with Decayed on the field, but I don't know, man. We're gonna do it like this. Defiler is good. No, I'm not gonna block that. Another mana, my word. Let's drop these 2. We'll probably get another mana out of this, yes. Swing. There's the block. And we're going to deal 3 damage to it. I don't mind him getting a little 2/2 out of this. We could still burn down the house. But I want to hold up Dissipate. Whatever he's got has got to be good. Oh yeah, Edgar. Very good. So he's splashing white for Edgar and a little bit of removal then. We'll go down to 16. All willy-nilly like. Just fine. And it's just beautiful when things seem to work out. It's highlighted in red. Not sure why I was doing that, but let's go ahead and Bloodtithe Harvester. We have a response with Burn Down the House to basically anything the opponent wants to do. Crystal Grotto. Decent little land. Ayo. That's not what we want to see. Can't quite remember what he does. Top 7 cards. Put any number of non-land permanents with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. We're just going to have to deal with this. But we do have our combination with the Reflections of Kikijiki and the Bloodtithe Harvester. We could probably deal with almost anything he's able to throw out here. Okay, gets his little guy. Yeah, the Raven Man we could definitely deal with. Should have actually burned down the house there? I think so. Okay. You're going to pay 4 for me to discard a card. I'm pretty happy about that. That's all of the mana for turn. Swing away. Swing, swing, my pretty. Again, we are taking 2 quite happily here. Down to 14. If a player discarded a card, create a 1/1. Alright, you can create your 1/1. And isn't this a beautiful thing here? We're going to actually destroy this. Because he might not get a proc off of the procession. And he does still get the proc. But we gotta dig a little bit. Alright, an Infernal Grasp looks really good. We'll happily take 2 again. Shake down heavy. Man, Infernal Grasp looks good. Man, Infernal Grasp looks good. This was a card that I think could have been the thing, but wasn't the thing. Mostly because you could just do that. Copying the Harvester here. And we're going to actually burn down the house, and we're going to create some devils. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I already spent my treasure. Okay, we are close. We don't want to discard the burn down the house. Angel of Suffering. If damage would be dealt to you, prevent that damage and mill twice that many cards. Well, you know it's going to die, right? What a combination. I mean, he keeps coming out with creatures, and I keep saying, no, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can now burn down the house. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Why do you keep playing creatures? What are you doing here still, opponent? I mean, sure. But it's not working out for you, buddy. There's your Quasar dead. Let's swing, and I think... Well, no, he'll still survive. He will survive. But I bet he's terrified, thinking he could never live with this Sheoldred on the field. And then he spent that many nights wondering what he did wrong. And he'll move on. He'll learn how to get along. Didn't know I was a poet, did you? And we're going to play first. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Oh, God, I hated that hand. Wow. Just how to ruin my day. That was the hand that ruined my day. This is not a whole lot better either. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have 4 Fable of the Mirror Breakers. We don't have any of our red mana. Maybe we should have been running a little bit more, but... every once in a while, the arena has to make you lose around. Let's see what the opponent is playing. Okay, I could deal with that. I could deal with a Bushwhack. Turn 2 Bushwhack is fine by me. We draw the Infernal Grasp. We need to draw a land for next turn. Hopefully it is a red one. I hate it. I'm not happy. Well, our opponent got stuck on land last time, and it looks like we're doing the same here. We just watching the opponent, just seeing what the heck he's trying to do. He had a pause there. Uh-oh. No! 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 Wait for the program to respond. Please respond, program. I have faith in you. So we move on to the next match. How exciting! So I don't know about you guys, but that hasn't happened to me on a desktop in quite a while. On my phone, it tends to happen quite often, but heck, what are you guys' experience? Do you just crash out of games? I don't think it affects your rank. I could be wrong. If it does affect your rank, please say something so that I know for the future. I can pin that comment in the description. Yeah, that hasn't happened to me in a long time. Haven't broken the soundbar for a while either. It's been quite strange, actually. Definitely going with a play first. On the play, 2 mana, both tapped, by the way. But a Lily in hand, we got the Harvester, we've got the Corpse Appraiser. Only thing we're missing, well, the 2 things we're missing to make this hand great is a 3rd mana and a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So we do have a Memory Deluge. I'm a gambling man. We're going to go with it. Oh man, I am going to regret every moment of that. Oh no, I'm not. Sometimes it pays to gamble, kids. Remember that. Gambling pays out heavy. Alright. So, you're going for wolves. Which means that this is probably a good move.
This is my home.
Actually, it's probably a bad move. This is a gambling move.
Haven't you ever heard of
Helena and Elena next? Is that what we're doing? Tapped land. It pays to gamble. Gambling pays hardcore cash. Where he just has his naturalist come down. Mana. Corpse Appraiser. Getting rid of the wolf. See? Who said that you couldn't gamble for a living? I'm going to discard the Memory Deluge.
You won't be outsmarting me.
What do you discard? Nothing. He just says never mind. Only change we really want to make here is some Marona Vortexes. Definitely not Duress. Duress is going to hurt us more than it helps us. Maybe even a Abrade? I don't know. I don't think a Abrade is correct to increase in here, but maybe we just drop a couple of these dissipates off. I mean, like, we could get rid of things when they hit the field, right? We have Sheoldred, or I said Sheoldred. I meant Liliana, right? And we also have actual Sheoldreds in the deck. Negate's going to be worthless. Siphon Insight, I'm still debating on that. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I think we're good. I mean, we ran him over in this first match, willy-nilly. Werewolves are really good on the play, but on the draw, they kind of fall off just a little bit. So we're going to have to hope that round 2, we just throw a couple of surprises in there. Maybe we should have put Burn Down the House in here. All right, that's enough. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me edit the deck. Let me go back. They're not going to let me go back. I will see you in a moment. The opponent is roping, and he did wait the entire of the sideboarding phase. So he might actually be gone, and it looks like that is the case. Sometimes when you play best of 3, you really just play best of 1. I did quite enjoy that, yes. Is this the best build? In Magic the Gathering Arena, 80% win rate, 90% of players scooped. No. But is this deck competitive enough for a new player who has a handful of wildcards to try to play around with? Yes. Why? Because all of these cards fit into other places just fine. And by crafting something that is versatile, crafting rares that are good almost everywhere, you are almost ensured to be able to play multiple different decks and just have a good time with Magic the Gathering Arena. Because when it all comes down to it, this is about fun. And I think a lot of people forget that. The Arena really emphasizes wins. And that's where people miss the point. It doesn't emphasize win rate. It emphasizes wins. And if you could find a way to craft cards that predominantly work almost anywhere you could think of in today's standard, you're looking pretty good to build your profile out to become much larger than it currently is. Thank you for your time. I know this was a bit of a long one. Oh my god. It was longer than I expected it to be, especially I didn't mean to go on a rant on the post game as well. But I went on a rant on the pregame, and I went on a rant in the post game. If you guys like little rants like that, let me know in the comments below. That just feels so formal. But again, thank you for joining me today. Make sure that you've liked the video. It really helps spread this video to a wider audience, helps get other people informed about such matters that are spoken about on this channel. And if you subscribe, you will see more content just like this. It's come to that point in the video where I am out of words. Bye.